Join me today as I discuss how you can plan an unforgettable long term travel trip. That's quite a mouthful. But I will also share tips and tricks along the way. Welcome to our channel. We are traveling retirees who spend most of the year traveling throughout the US and around the world. Join us on our adventures. Long term travel has become increasingly popular, especially after the pandemic, and it's no wonder why. The freedom to explore new destinations, immerse yourself in various cultures and different languages, and just take a break from the daily grind is very appealing and it sounds wonderful. But before you can start living this dream, you have to put in the work and plan your trip. Now, some of the biggest challenges to long term travel are budget, itinerary planning, logistics, and navigating foreign languages and cultures. In today's video, I will go through some of the steps that we use to plan our trips. Now, I am a planner. If you see seen our channel, you know that I'm a planner, and I feel that research is your friend. We don't plan every nitty gritty detail of our travel, but I do feel that things just flow a whole lot better when you have time to plan. So we're constantly improving our process, fine tuning it, trying to learn more as we go. And so let's get into it. I am a bargain hunter. And I treat our travel just like I do my grocery shopping. We eat what's on sale. So we usually travel the same way. We travel when it's the least expensive, and so that we can get more bang for our buck, and then we can go on more trips. One of the things that we look at is the time of year that we want to go and the cost. So, first things first, let's talk about timing. Normally, we plan 6 to 12 months out because you do get better prices and selection. We usually travel for about 3 or 4 months at a time when we're out of the country, and when we're in the US because it's a little bit more expensive, we usually travel for several weeks to a month. For example, it's fall right now. And so I'm looking at places to go to for next summer or next fall of next year. So I look at where are the best places for me to go during that time of year. First point when we're traveling is what time of year we're going to go, and cost. And so the cost ties into the flights because flights are very expensive, and so that's a huge part of your trip. So we look at. I use Google Flights, so we come into the website, and you can see here. I put in one way. We used to do one way. I don't do round trip anymore because we've gotten burned with that. So one way. I didn't see a huge savings cost anyway, so we do one way, and that gives us more flexibility as well. If we need to cancel a portion of it, we don't have to try to cancel the whole trip. Or if you don't go on one leg, you miss out on the other leg. So, or if you miss your flight. So I put one way, and then put in the airport that's the closest to you, a major airport that's closest to you, Washington D.C. I put in, and right now just price up for one person, economy, and then type in anywhere. You type in anywhere in the world. So it searches for trips anywhere in the world. It's a really cool function here. And then I hit explore. And then from there, you can see the world. And so it says Washington, D.C., anywhere. Trip in the next 6 months. And so we do 6 to 12 months out. So here I'll put in March, the furthest date out here. And so from Washington D.C. area, you can see you can go to L.A. for $100, $109, Bora Bora for $760, Buenos Aires, Johannesburg. So it shows you kind of idea of all over the world how much things will cost. And so we basically look at that and decide. We have a bucket list of places we want to go, and then so we look at the region that we want to go. So just say I want to go to Dubai, and then so I would come over and click that one. I saw was $473. You can also zoom in too. So just say this region here. And what I would do is I would write down a couple places. Like I may say Dubai, Buenos Aires, that's on my list. I will put that down. And so I kind of have an idea of how much things cost. And then I go to the next section with this weather and all that stuff, which I'll talk about next. But you can drill down and go in more too. So if you want to see more flights, see here in Africa. So just say I put in Dubai, I put that in, and then you'll see the different places that you can go to. Now here in United, we have Kevin has status with United, and we have a United credit card. So we use our credit card. We have a baggage luggage that flies free, and we can use our points. So what we do is we go to the actual company's website, the airline's website. We don't book directly through Google Flights. We just use this as a starting point to book our flights. But we love Google Flights, and so this is how we use it. And so you go to that particular airline, you book your flight, and you're good to go. And we always try to book things that we can cancel because anything can happen. We have elderly parents. We may need to come back for that. Of course, we have kids, adult kids. And so if we ever need to come back for any reason, we try to put it in where we can cancel, unless it's an extremely cheap flight. But other than that, we do try to do that. And we also have travel insurance as well. First, okay, number three, the weather can make or break your trip. So do some research on peak and off-peak seasons of your desired destination. So I just have an example of a time we were as a family in Malta, and it was the rainy season. And I remember telling the proprietor, "When is it going to stop raining?" Because I hadn't done any research. I just said, "Oh, this is a great place to go." And she said, "Oh, it's the rainy season. Of course it's going to rain every day." And so we didn't take that into account. That's a travel mistake, and I have to make a video about all the mistakes that we've made. I'm sure there'll be more. So hopefully you can learn from us and avoid these mistakes. But definitely check out the weather if you can to make sure that it's an ideal time to go during that time. So you don't want to be in a place where it's too rainy or too hot. Um, we like to go to places that are warm. I don't like the cold. I want Alaska's on my bucket list, so in Iceland. So I know at some point I'm gonna have to go to some of those places that are cold. But I'll try to find the warmest time of year to go. So we look at the weather. We also look at how crowded it is. During this, at the high season, it's going to be crowded. So with the weather, that's usually the low season, so you do get the best prices. So you have to take that into account. A lot of it depends also on, as far as your travel style. And I did do a video about that, how travel style will impact your trip planning and how much you pay for trips. So it just depends on what type of traveler you are. But if you want to save money, yeah, go with the low season. We try to do shoulder. So that's like, it's not the high, but it's not the low. So you may get a little bit of the weather starting to change and get better, or or maybe just starting to get worse. But shoulder season, you usually get pretty good prices as well. Low season, the weather's usually just terrible, but you get a chance to see it. Also, look at are there events happening? We got caught up in that with Barcelona on the cruise. I didn't check for that particular, port to see if they had events. And sometimes that happens, especially on cruises, because you're going to so many different ports. You may not want to go to Paris during the Olympics because it's going to be expensive. Also, another thing too is pack appropriately. We've had to do that too. We had to purchase coats or hats because it had been colder than we thought. So all those things play a part too when you're planning out your trip. So look at the weather, the season that it is, are the events happening, things like that. Okay, number four. So the next thing we look at is safety, because I am the type of person I like to be safe. Most people do. So we look at the travel advisories. Remember, safety first. And so I'm sure that each country has this, but I know in the United States, we have a website that we can go to and check out the travel advisories. Also, you can try to check into their local news to see what's going on. But just want to ensure that your chosen destination is safe for travelers and that you're not going somewhere that you're going to be in danger. So let's just hop over to the website for U.S. citizens, and you can check that out. And like I said, whatever country you're living in, please check and make sure that this is a safe destination to go to. Okay, so here for U.S. citizens, you can go to the State Department's website. They have travel advisories there for you. And so you can see the different travel advisories here for different countries, different places. They also give the advisory levels: exercise normal precautions, exercise increased caution, reconsider travel, and level 4, do not travel. You also have this program that you can enroll in, which will keep you up to date with security information. Also, it'll let the country know where you're at in the world as well if something happens. And you can type in a particular place. Like, for instance, we're going to Thailand in a couple months. So I can type in Thailand and it will pull the information up about this country. So you see it's level one, exercise normal precautions. So any alerts that you need to know, and your passport information. Do you need a tourist visa? You see here, no, if your stay is less than 60 days. I just checked on this one, and you can go in and look at the entry requirements for Thailand. I think you get it upon arrival. And then any vaccinations that you need and things like that, and different embassies. If you need to get in trouble, you need to go somewhere, get help. You have all that information there as well. Number five, visa or country's entry requirements. So the next thing we check is what do you need to do to get in these countries? So this is the not so fun but necessary part of travel because it makes a huge difference. Each country has its own requirements. So you need to check in advance to see how long you can stay, what the entry requirements are, and try to start the process early. Some places offer free visa-free entry visas upon arrival, but other countries you may need to fill out more paperwork, so make sure you plan accordingly for those types of situations. Number six, housing or accommodations. Housing is crucial for long term stays. So you decide between hostels, hotels, or vacation rentals based on your budget and your travel style. For those seeking a home like experience, Airbnb can be a great option. It can also be a nightmare if you're there for a long period of time. So make sure you always read the reviews and compare prices to find the best deal. Because we've been in some places and we're like, oh my gosh, when is this month going to end? And then some places we've had to leave early. In one place I went to, and Kevin kept telling me, you need to record it. You need to record. I just couldn't. I was sick to my stomach. It was horrible. I couldn't stay an hour. So you need to make sure that you have cancellation policies and things like that for the place that you're staying at. But definitely do your research because just like weather, where you're staying can wreck your trip and make it miserable. So make sure you check that out. So let's look at some. So you have different housing options. You have Airbnb, you have hotels, you have hostels. We use booking.com a lot because we have genius status. So that's nice. Kevin has through hotels.com and his credit card. We can get some places there that are pretty good deals. Um, I just tried an IG credit card out, so I'm trying that out. Try some new things because with inflation, the accommodations are getting more expensive, and it's just trying to find ways to make that more affordable. So there are a lot of different housing options. So you definitely need to look at that when you're planning your trip to make sure this is a place you can afford to live, or it's even for a month or so, or if it's even a place that you want to go after you look at the housing. Number seven, last but not least, is daily living. You have to live there. So, what is the cost of living in this place? So, of course, the infamous cost of living, your budget will dictate how you live abroad. Some countries are very wallet friendly, and other countries require a bit more savings or are a lot more expensive. So, research the average daily expenses to get a clear picture of exactly how much you will need to stay there. Next, as part of daily life, is things to do. What are the local things to do? I usually check out TripAdvisor. We use Get Your Guide, Airbnb experiences. We do a lot of DIY. I would go and look at a tour maybe on TripAdvisor and try to duplicate it, see if I could do it myself to save money. There are also expat Facebook groups that you can get an idea of different activities that are going on. You have free and paid walking tours that you can do. So make a list of must-see landmarks for that area, and then realize you may not be able to do all of it. Just do what you can. Do some of the local activities, hiking, museums, tours. So try to plan some of it. Just have like a skeleton outline of what you want to do, but I wouldn't overplan also because you want to have some flexibilities. I know some places we went to, we hooked up with some other expats and we're hanging out. We're like, oh, you know, we want to do this. Like, oh, we already planned this. You know? Or they say, oh, you could have done this cheaply if you'd done it this way. Or, you know, no, you don't want to go there. So just kind of have a skeleton idea of things you want, some must see things that may be difficult to get into, but don't overplan also because you want to have wiggle room to do some things that may come up or that you didn't know about, a festival event or something like that. So it gives you opportunity to be able to do those things. Last but not least is getting around. How are you going to get around? Now, a lot of times we try to stay close to the city center or places that are walkable because we really don't like renting cars if we can help it. Um, you want to be, so we try to look for walkable, but it depends because walkable can be more expensive. You may also look at public transportation. We do use a lot of that, trains and buses. Look for their local version of Uber in that particular city and do that. A website that we use is called Rome to Rio. So let me just let you pull that up real quickly. And if you're in a country, like we're going to Asia beginning of next year. And so if you want to move around the country, what are some ways that you can do that? And so this website will show you how to do that as well. So, one of the websites that we like to use is called Rome to Rio. And it's a really great website. You just put in where you're trying to go. And this is really helpful if you're moving around the country. A lot of times, what we'll do is we'll get any region and then we go to different places in that region. So, while you're in Asia, you can knock out a couple different places and get to see a couple different things while you're there, since you've already paid for the long flight or use your points to get to a certain area. So try to see as much as you can. So here I put in Bangkok because we're going to be landing in Bangkok. So how to get to Bangkok, from Bangkok to Chiang Mai. You see it shows 5 different places, 5 different ways. And so you can do a flight from, I guess, from this airport or a flight from this airport. I think this is one that we're coming in on. You can also take a train, you got the bus. And so what I would do is click on this and just say, for instance, the train seems like it's the cheapest, but it's going to take you the longest. We are retired, so we have the time. So a lot of times, sometimes we will take it just, to save the money. But if it's significant, sometimes it's just not worth your time, even being retired. So do that. And so you see here, they have the different companies that are there. And what we do is, so I'll go back here. What we do is if we see a particular company, like for instance, this particular place here, this company here, um, you see the different companies here. We actually go to that specific website because it's saying that these are available and these are some of the times, and this is every 4 hours. But different countries have different things going on, maybe a holiday. So this is may normally be the schedule. So Rome de Rio pulls in general information, but you need to go to the specific site to make sure that that is leaving at that time. You don't want to rely on that, and then you get there like, oh no, it's a holiday, and Rome de Rio did pick that up. Or like we lived in Italy for a while. In August they take off, so a lot of things were closed because everyone went on holiday. So just make sure you check that. So we use this as a guide starting point, just like Google Flights, to get an idea of the different transportation options, but we don't sit there and say, okay, this is the only way to get there. Just using this, we actually go to the actual individual vendors and check it out. So you have those different ways of doing that. So love Rome to Rio. So what are the key takeaways from this video? First, with careful planning, you can overcome the common challenges of long term travel. Second, flexibility and self care are crucial. Don't be too hard on yourself when things don't go as planned because a lot of times they won't work. You just kind of have to laugh it off and say, okay, well, that's something I learned. But don't be too hard on yourself if things don't go just as you plan, or don't get too frustrated. You have to be flexible. As we've learned, you have to be flexible. We've grown a lot. I feel like grown a lot as far as being more flexible and adaptable. And then pack your patience. You have to have patience with the process of planning all this stuff out, patience with daily life and some of the things that you're not used to that we are used to in America, they may not have in other places. And then just patience with each other. If you're traveling with a partner or a spouse or a friend, just have patience with each other. On this channel, we will show you the good things that happen and the not so great things that happen because it's not all this wonderful, glorious lifestyle. There are some things that are great, there's some things that didn't turn out quite so well. But we are very blessed to live this life, and but it is a lot of work to put the planning and process to do it. So I would say thirdly, try to find balance. That's something I'm still working on. Take time for yourself when you need it. And finally, long term travel is an incredible opportunity for growth, for discovery about the world. You discover a lot about yourself, and it's an adventure. So don't be afraid to take the leap, step outside of your comfort zone, and see where it takes you. Despite of all of the challenges that we face when we're doing that, it has been worth it, and I have no regrets so far. So that's our video for today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to share any travel planning tips that you have or questions in the comments below. We're still learning, and I'm sure that others would benefit from your insights as well. Please consider subscribing to our channel or give us a like so that the YouTube gods will push this video out to others. Also, check out some of our other videos as well. So take care, everyone, and safe travels.